It started with a yellow cardigan and a tremble that shook the world, but nobody realized they were witnessing a carefully crafted illusion that was about to shatter. Back in 2018, the world of reality television was hit by a seismic event that few could have predicted. A 13-year-old girl named Courtney Hadwin walked onto the America's Got Talent stage, looking like she wanted the earth to swallow her whole. She was the definition of unassuming, a quiet student from County Durham who seemed terrified of the microphone. But the moment the backing track for Otis Redding, Hard to Handle, kicked in, something shifted that experts are still analyzing today. She didn't just sing. She underwent a total physical transformation, channelizing the raw energy of 1960s rock legends. Howie Mandel famously called her a lion, hitting the golden buzzer and catapulting her into a level of fame that most adults can't handle. Overnight, she wasn't just a contestant. She was a global phenomenon with hundreds of millions of views. However, as the glitter settled, the questions began to surface. Was this a genuine talent or a manufactured gimmick designed for clicks? The contrast between the shy girl and the screaming rock star was so sharp it felt almost supernatural. This moment was the then in our story, a snapshot of a child prodigy standing at the edge of a cliff, unaware of the industry vultures waiting for her to jump. Little did the audience know, the girl they saw on screen was already being pressured to fit into a box that was far too small for her spirit. The then was a dream, but what came next was a cold, hard reality that nearly ended her career before it truly began. While the cameras stopped rolling, a much darker story was unfolding behind the closed doors of one of the world's most powerful record labels. After the finale of AGT, Courtney was immediately signed to Simon Cowell's Syco Entertainment in a joint venture with Arista Records. On paper, it was the ultimate victory, but in reality, it became a period of radio silence that left millions of fans demanding answers. For years, Courtney seemed to vanish from the mainstream. Why would a label sit on a gold mine? Our investigation into the industry machine suggests a classic clash of creative visions. Sources close to the production indicate that the Suits wanted to polish her raw edges, turning her into a conventional pop star that would fit neatly on top 40 radio. But Courtney wasn't a pop star. She was a blues rock force of nature. This led to a period of stagnation where her voice was effectively silenced by contractual obligations. This isn't just a story about a missing singer. It's a cautionary tale about the toxic nature of child stardom, where the artist's identity is treated like a commodity to be traded. During this time, the rumors began to fester. Without new music, the internet filled the void with speculation, ranging from health scares to claims that she had lost her voice entirely. The silence was deafening, and it lasted much longer than anyone expected. It wasn't until she finally broke free from these restrictive contracts that the real Courtney Hadwin began to emerge from the shadows. But the cost of that freedom was higher than anyone realized. She had to navigate a labyrinth of legal red tape just to own the rights to her own sound, a battle that many young artists lose before they even turn 18. Just when the industry was ready to write her off as a one-hit wonder, Courtney Hadwin executed a move that would redefine her entire future. By 2024 and leading into 2025, the narrative shifted from "what happened to her" to "look what she's doing now." Courtney made the radical decision to bypass the major label system entirely, moving her base of operations to Minneapolis. She began collaborating with veteran producer Kevin Bowe, known for his work with Etta James and The Replacements. This was a tactical retreat from the Hollywood spotlight to find the soul she felt she had lost in the AGT whirlwind. She wasn't looking for a hit, she was looking for her truth. This period saw the birth of her debut album, Lil Miss Jagged, a project that served as a middle finger to everyone who told her she needed to be softer or more commercial. Going independent meant she had to fund her own vision, taking a massive financial risk that few 20-somethings would dare to attempt. She traded the safety of a corporate paycheck for the uncertainty of the indie scene, but it paid off in artistic credibility. The music coming out of these sessions wasn't the Joplin-light covers from her teen years. It was sophisticated, gritty, and deeply personal rock and roll. She was no longer a puppet for a talent show. She was a CEO of her own brand. This transition was the turning point that allowed her to survive the transition from a child star to a legitimate artist. She started performing in intimate venues, rebuilding her fan base from the ground up, proving that she didn't need a golden buzzer to command a room. It was a bold gamble that set the stage for the massive 2026 comeback that is currently taking the music world by storm. Behind the high-energy performances lies a history of personal struggles that Courtney is only now beginning to reveal to the public. As her new music reached the charts in 2025 and 2026, the lyrics told a story that was far from the all-American image projected on TV. Courtney has hinted at toxic situationships and deep mental health hurdles that she faced during her years away from the spotlight. In her own words, she described feeling spellbound by people who didn't have her best interests at heart, leading to a spiral of self-doubt. In the world of YouTube automation, these details are often sensationalized, but the reality is a sober look at the pressures of growing up in the public eye. She dealt with demons that many teens face, but hers were amplified by the opinions of millions of strangers. She has spoken about the difficulty of separating her stage persona from the girl who just wanted to lead a normal life. There were moments when she felt she was cracking under the weight of expectations, leading to what some might call a breakdown, though she prefers to call it a breakthrough. She's been open about her journey through therapy and the process of purging the negative influences from her life. This vulnerability has created a new, deeper bond with her fans, who see her not just as a singer, but as a survivor. By addressing these darker chapters through her art, she's managed to reclaim her narrative from the tabloid headlines. She's used her platform to highlight that it's okay to not be okay, even when you're successful on paper. This emotional honesty is a key reason why her 2026 tour has seen such a massive turnout. People aren't just there for the voice anymore. They're there for the person who survived the machine. If you saw a photo of Courtney Hadwin today, you might walk right past her, unaware that she is the same girl who once stood trembling on the AGT stage. The 2026 version of Courtney is a masterclass in visual rebranding. Gone are the cardigans and the messy schoolgirl hair. In their place is a sophisticated, punk-inspired aesthetic that reflects her new role as the frontwoman of her band, the Courtz. Her style has evolved into something much more jagged, featuring sharp silhouettes, bold makeup, and a stage presence that feels dangerous in the best way possible. This isn't just about fashion, it's a psychological shield. She has transformed her physical appearance to match the maturity of her voice. Industry insiders have noted that her now look is a deliberate departure from the then to ensure no one treats her like a child anymore. She's tall, confident, and carries herself with the poise of a woman who has seen the bottom and fought her way back to the top. This physical shift coincided with her move back to the UK, where she has become a fixture in the London rock scene. Her performances at legendary spots like the 100 Club have become the stuff of modern legend, with critics praising her ferocious energy. She's no longer mimicking the greats, she's becoming one. This transformation is vital for her longevity. It signals to the world that she is a contemporary artist, not a nostalgia act. The 2026 Courtney is a frontwoman in every sense of the word, leading a group of seasoned musicians with an authority that belies her age. She successfully bridged the gap between viral teen and rock icon, a transition that very few reality stars ever manage to complete without fading into obscurity. In the age of viral misinformation, Courtney Hadwin has become a prime target for death hoaxes and tragic accident clickbait that has left her family and fans in a state of constant alarm. If you've searched for her name recently, you might have seen shocking thumbnails claiming she's no longer with us, or that a heartbreaking accident has ended her career. We can officially confirm that these reports are 100% false. These tragedy narratives are often generated by AI-driven channels looking to exploit the emotional connection fans have with her. The reality is that Courtney is very much alive, healthy, and more active than ever. Some of these rumors likely stemmed from her disappearance from the public eye during her legal battles with her former label, leading people to assume the worst. Others have twisted her lyrics about dark times or losing herself into literal claims of her offing herself. This is a classic example of how the internet can weaponize an artist's vulnerability against them. Courtney herself has had to take to social media several times to debunk these claims, often with a touch of her trademark wit. She has laughed off the ghost rumors, stating that she's too busy working to be dead. However, the persistence of these stories highlights the toxic side of digital fame, where a person's life is treated as a script for engagement. Our reporting confirms that Courtney is in peak physical condition and is currently preparing for a major international tour. The only tragedy in this story is the way these fake headlines are allowed to proliferate, causing unnecessary grief to her global fanbase. She is a survivor of the industry, not a victim of a freak accident. While her critics were waiting for her to fail, Courtney Hadwin was quietly building a multi-million-dollar empire that makes her one of the most successful independent artists of her generation. As we look at the now, the numbers are staggering. In 2026, her net worth is estimated to be north of $3 million, a figure she's achieved without the backing of a major corporate machine. She has diversified her income through direct-to-fan sales, high-value touring, and smart investments in music production facilities. She recently purchased a significant property in the UK and maintains a creative hub in the United States, allowing her to bridge the gap between the two biggest music markets in the world. Her live sessions at Metropolis Studios have become a premium brand, and her merchandise lines sell out within hours of release. She isn't just a singer. She's a mogul who understands the value of her own data and intellectual property. By owning her masters and her publishing, she ensures that every cent her music makes goes back into her pocket, rather than a CEO's third vacation home. This financial independence is the ultimate win in her then versus now journey. She's gone from a kid who needed permission to sing a song to a woman who owns the studio where the songs are recorded. Her 2026 outlook is incredibly bright, with rumors of a major documentary in the works that will chronicle her escape from the reality TV trap. Courtney Hadwin is no longer a contestant. She's the standard for how to handle fame on your own terms. The girl who was afraid to speak has finally found her voice, but the question remains, was the golden buzzer a blessing or a curse that she spent nearly a decade trying to outrun? As we wrap up this investigative look at Courtney Hadwin in 2026, it's clear that her story is far from over. She had to die as a reality TV character so that she could be born as a legitimate rock icon. The shy girl in the yellow cardigan is a memory, a ghost of a version of Courtney that the world tried to freeze in time. But Courtney refused to be a museum exhibit. She fought the labels, ignored the tragedy rumors, and survived the toxic industry traps that have claimed so many others. Today, she stands as a beacon for every young artist who feels like they don't fit the mold. Her journey from 2018 to 2026 is a testament to the power of saying no and the courage it takes to walk away from a guaranteed path to forge your own. She didn't just survive the then, she conquered the now. As she prepares for her next world tour, one thing is certain. The world is finally listening to the real Courtney Hadwin, and she has a lot more to say. The shock isn't that she changed. The shock is that we ever thought she'd stay the same.